When you started this book, it's almost like you were just going along with a bunch of family members who were going back, and you thought, this is not going to affect me.
Oh, I think you're very right there. I think that I had, and I don't think that this was a wrong interpretation of myself, but I did see myself as very Canadian, and that of all the siblings, that I am by far the most westernized. I was the only one who really got the full benefit of a Canadian education. I speak without accent. I am a member of English-speaking Canadian culture in the way that my siblings just aren't. My brothers came as young men, and they don't read in English. They really can't read very well at all. And all their reading is in Chinese. They watch Chinese television. They do a lot of the typical sorts of things that retired Chinese people do. They love going to the casino, and they love going out for dim sum, and all their friends are Chinese, and they really don't speak English that well. And so I didn't see going back to China as really a reunion for me. I expected it to be a journey of some discovery, but I was going, I felt, as a tourist.
You're the product of what you describe as an unhappy home.
It wasn't so much an unhappy home as it was a deeply unhappy marriage.
Because your parents, should make it clear, were both absolutely crazy about you.
They were crazy about me. And I think that I feed on that love to this day, and I think that it's been that love that has been able, that has allowed me to live the life that I have, that has propelled me forward, and that has given me confidence, and that has told me that I'm a worthwhile person.
Everything seems to be going just fine until someone goes, your mother really chased after your father. And it's like your jaw hits the
floor.
The floor, and you don't even say anything when the first time you hear that, because it's completely.
It made no sense at all, and I just remember thinking, who is this woman? Are we talking about the same woman? Are we talking about my mother? Because up until then, I had always believed, and this was according to my mother and to my father, that they had married strictly for practical reasons, that it was a marriage of convenience.
Here they were, people who were jeered at and ignored and bottom of the social strata, because Acton, Ontario had one other Chinese family? I mean, you were, as ethnic goes, you were it.
We were it.
And but back home, your mother was this educator, and she'd come from a wealthy family and gone to a prestigious university, and had fallen in love with your father, who was looked at as this, not just a successful businessman, but even when he was at home, he was thought of as a wise, clever man.
Yes, because he read Confucius, he read Mencius, and he was able to quote from sources, and he was well versed in Chinese folk tales and mythology and history, and people really looked up to him. And you're absolutely right. There was a sense when I went back to China, particularly on that second visit, that I was being introduced to my parents, that the parents that I knew in Canada were totally different from the people I met in China. And that was actually very disconcerting.
Yeah, it's funny because you as the author, you could have made yourself look better, I dare say. You resist and resist and resist this new wonderful image of your parents.
Well, I think it is a wonderful image, but I think that what bothered me in finding out these new people was that the parents I knew didn't make sense, and the parents that I had discovered were actually growing further and further away from me. that as I got to know them better, they actually became more distant because they had no connection to the people that I knew and loved. And I think that that was what I found disconcerting.
See, I'd have thought that pride would have kicked in, that you'd have been all gooey going, wow, I knew that Dad sent money back and I had no idea it did all these things, and that Mum was this much more complicated, loving woman.
There was that as well, and I think that it was a situation of many, many emotions. Pride was there, but there was also this sense of also losing something, perhaps gaining something. But I think more than anything else, I think there was that very deep sadness that came with knowing that these people never had that happiness fulfilled, that they were victims of history, I guess.
The book is The Year of Finding Memory. It's a memoir. I've been speaking with the author, Judy Fong Bates, and The Year of Finding Memory is published by Random House of Canada.